Funding for Alex S. Warrior is provided by contributions to my Patreon station from viewers like you. Thank you. This show is seriously underrated. That's right, I'm a big fan of the PBS Kids game show Fetch with Ruffman. Even if it was meant for an audience younger than me, this show is genuinely fantastic. It's funny, teaches science and other topics in really cool ways, and can still be entertaining to me as an adult.
Hey, Jay!
Ruff, I gotta say, before you put a live thing in a box, please send me earmuffs.
Okay, good thinking.
And one of the coolest parts of this show was the challenges that Ruff sends the kids on. I won't lie, as a kid I wanted to be on the show, but by the time I was old enough the show was long gone. Enough sadness! I want to talk about what I feel the coolest challenges were. This list will be based on how creative the challenges were, how well they taught a lesson, a little bit on how much I liked the episode, and how fair it is to the fetchers. With all that said, we gotta go fetch some cool challenges. Let's do this thing! To start off the list, we actually have a tie between two very similar challenges. They're also both solo missions. They are Taylor's Sea Lion Challenge in Season 1, and Willie's Dolphin Challenge from Season 2. I'll be going one at a time, starting with the sea lions. Taylor gets sent to an aquarium and becomes a trainer for 2 sea lions, learning not only about training animals for shows, but about sea lions and their behaviors. It was really neat seeing her create her very own show for them. Also, Ruff's comments were funny as always.
That's a live fish that looks like a swimming rock.
Not to mention Baloo and Guthrie are just so freaking cute. Moving over to Season 2, Willie gets to spend most of the episode with a dolphin. However, unlike Taylor, Willie's challenge revolves around learning the abilities of dolphins and trying to emulate them. They're both great episodes in their own right, but the topic of fairness makes them only number 10. While not unfair towards Taylor, I think that Anna and the boys got dealt a raw deal that episode. I get it, fetch fairness guarantee, but still. As for Willie's challenge, he had to compete against a dolphin in a swimming and jumping contest. I think Ruff himself said it best.
This may be the most unfair challenge I have ever issued. I feel guilty.
But it doesn't take away too much from these great episodes. Sea creatures are so cool, and being able to learn more about them is always a fun time. You know a show is great when they make cleaning seem fun. When Ruff gets blotted with a permanent marker, he tasks the male contestants of Season 3 to find out how to get stains out. Sounds boring, right? You forget. This is Fetch. The challenge starts with the boys dirtying parts of their new outfits with whatever's lying around the area. When they're done with that, it becomes clear that getting stains out will be treated more like a science experiment than a chore. It's the mundane made awesome element that cemented this challenge's spot on the list. They meet a chemist that explains hydrophobic and hydrophilic properties and how that helps with stain removal until leaving the guys with the stains and several cleaning tools to figure out what gets specific stains out the best. I really like the scientific aspect of not only this episode, but the show as a whole, and even if you don't dig the whole cleaning theme, the fun the guys have in the beginning is super nice to see, and the segments are really funny at times, particularly Jay's quips.
Ruff, looks like you got yourself a PB and J.
How would you get it out?
Put it in the hamper and it comes back clean. It's a magic.
I don't think it works like that, Jay.
Whole milk.
Whole milk.
Unless there are cookies involved, I'm not interested.
Yeah, expect to see Season 3 a lot on this list. I'll be honest, I wasn't too big on Season 4 or 5. I didn't hate them, they weren't bad, but they didn't hook me as much as the first 3 seasons. That being said, there were a few standout episodes of Season 4 that could have taken this spot. So let's take a stab at making a better pun. You know, when I saw the episode start with Bethany and Talia going to Home Depot for fence building supplies, I thought I got the wrong episode. Thankfully, things turn around real quick once Blossom shifts the challenge's gears and takes the two to the Fencing Academy, where they meet— wait a minute, what? Okay, that was not intentional, I swear. As someone who was introduced to the sport through the Mario and Sonic Olympics series, this episode was a treat throughout. You get to see and learn how the fencers move and attack, and even learn about 3 different sword types. The best part was the little 1v1 duel between Bethany and Talia at the end. Despite it being both of their first times, it was a very interesting and suspenseful match. Plus the outfits were just amazing. Even if Season 4 wasn't perfect in my opinion, this episode is still a highlight, which is especially good considering it was the season's 2nd episode. Before I talk about the challenge, I need to bring up this moment during the cold open.
Well, no, I don't need them. But when you see a sweet deal on the internet, you gotta pounce!
As a chronic window shopper, this is too relatable. In this challenge, Willie and Bridget get sent to a bowling alley, which in of itself is super cool. I love bowling a lot, and I'm not just talking about Wii Sports either. However, the bowling aspect is only part of the challenge. As well as learning the physics and science behind it, they also have to build a simple machine that can bowl a decent frame consistently. There were many highlights here, like Bridget getting a strike on her first ever try, and the contest between Willie and Bridget's creation, dubbed the Bowlinator, and the alley's own machine, Throwbot. And before you ask me to make the reference, Ruff's already got you covered.
What do you think we should name it, Willie? The Bowlinator.
The Bowlinator! Oh, I like it!
I always really like the episodes where the fetchers have to create something out of an assortment of materials. It's always great to see what they end up making in the end, as well as the trial and error from various designs and redesigns. Once again, the episode takes something as seemingly simple as bowling and makes it more fun than it already is with the creation process and friendly competition. That's a strike for me, Chief. Politics suck. That being said, leave it to Fetch to make it actually fun to watch. Sam's challenge to help former Senator Kennedy collect data was pretty cool, but seeing the Fetchers create a parade float with the help of Macy's Parade Studio was just plain amazing. Sammy, Noel, and DJ have to make a sculpture of Ruff so he can advertise his campaign for office, and seeing it all come together over the course of the episode was so satisfying. And par for the course, the humor is there, and somehow makes the science involved fun to watch and learn about. I never would have guessed that styrofoam was such a good material for parade floats, but it makes a lot of sense when they explain it in the episode. Easily the best part of the challenge was the Fetchers taking the float through the actual parade. Seeing all the happy reactions from the crowd must have been super gratifying for our young float technician friends.
Thank you, sweetie! Mwah.
However, we only see the Fetchers partially shape the foam, paint Ruff, and run through the parade. This challenge probably would have been higher if we saw a bit more of the creation process for the float. Still doesn't take too much away from a really cool spin on the usual creation challenges.
Looks like it's halftime here at Alex's Warrior HQ, and here we have Wright and Rory here to earn points of their own during the halftime quiz show. These questions will pertain to my earlier videos, and they have 90 seconds to answer 10 questions as a team, 50 points on the line, and 5 points apiece. Are you ready?
As ready as I can be.
I'm ready!
Your quiz begins. Now! What is the name of my beetle-brained intern?
Lawrence.
Correct. Which grounded Cuphead boss was the hardest for me to S-rank before the DLC?
Before the DLC, what is the clown's name? What's the name of the clown? I
clown?
don't remember.
Moving on. Blastoise is my favorite Kanto Pokemon, true or false?
True?
Incorrect. Who is this?
Is that Anne?
It's Joker. Joker.
Or is it
Yes, it is Joker.
Okay.
What is the 6th zone in Sonic the Hedgehog 1?
What?
Pass.
Name one of the candies I had in my stash at the end of top 10 spooky levels.
I thought you mentioned candy corn, but am I just being silly?
Yeah.
We're gonna pass on that one too. What color are the boyfriend shoes in Friday Night Funkin'?
Red.
Correct.
Red.
What was my water type in my Let's Play of Pokemon Gold?
Lapras?
Wrong. Who said this line?
I'll teach you to keep me up till 3 in the morning!
We'll come back to it if there's time.
Name the 2 protagonists of Oddworld that have appeared on my channel.
Pass on me, I can't.
Abe?
Abe's one of them.
I don't remember the...
And oh, time is up. Let's go back to the ones you missed. The grounded Cuphead boss that was the hardest for me to S-rank before the DLC was Rumor Honeybottoms.
Oh.
The 6th zone in Sonic the Hedgehog 1 is Scrap Brain Zone.
Okay.
One of the candies I had in my stash at the end of top 10 spooky levels, you could have said Skittles or Reese's Cups.
Damn it.
What was the water type in my Let's Play Pokemon Gold? It was Azumarill.
Oh, okay.
I think I mixed up another Let's Player for this one.
I haven't caught up with the Pokemon Gold videos, I'm sorry.
Who said this line? I'll teach you to keep me up till 3 in the morning. That was Keyblade Overlord.
Damn it! I was torn. Okay, the thing is, I remember that line. It was between Ant and Key, and I was.
I just completely forgot.
I was between two.
Name the 2 protagonists of Oddworld that have appeared on my channel. There's 3 as of now. The other one is Munch.
3?
I thought that was the same protagonist. I didn't know that. Oh, that's amazing.
Anyway, you got 3 of them correct. That gives you 15 points.
Hey.
Oh, nice.
And with that, marks the end of our halftime challenge. What's the top 5 look like? Let's find out!
Hey, it's season 3 again. Surprise! You know, it's very rare to see a direct sequel episode in shows like these. Earlier in season 3, the Fetchers had to build a protector for Grandma Ruffman's cake that she was going to send Ruff's twin brother Scruff in prison. However, later in the season, Grandma Ruffman finds herself in custody and charged with trying to break Scruff out of prison. The music might have tipped you off, but I immediately thought of Ace Attorney upon rewatching the episode. However, where AA focuses on logic and critical thinking, Fetch's take on a court case revolves more around the forensic science surrounding it. Seeing the various clues used to determine Grandma Ruffman's innocence analyzed this way was super neat. It was also really interesting seeing it all unfold during the actual case. Usually the Fetchers are joking around and super excited about whatever Ruff gets them into, so it's pretty rare to see them all serious and no nonsense. All of this is before the return of the coolest Fetcher to grace the series.
I got called for jury duty.
That man looked just like Rosario.
Rosario's grand return was really nice to see, especially since no other Fetcher has made an appearance outside their debut season.
Objection! The TikTok account had the season 4 contestants together for a reunion.
I wouldn't count that since that wasn't on the actual show, but that is still pretty neat. They went to Disney World? How? Ruff usually has to deal with budget cuts to get his show done. How did he manage to afford getting his Fetchers tickets to Disney World? Inconsistency aside, the location is only part of why this challenge is so cool. I absolutely love roller coasters. And for this episode, we get to see Willie and Bridget ride a few of Disney's before creating one of their own. The way they create the layout of the ride is really neat. They actually use storyboards to plow the action. The same storyboards used in film and television. Yeah, that's awesome! You also get to see the Fetchers take inspiration from the coasters they rode earlier in the episode, particularly Expedition Everest, since the Fetchers ride is supposed to involve a volcano.
How many times have I heard that speech from Henry? Do whatever you want, Ruff, just make sure you work a volcano in. Okay, boss?
I feel the coolest part came from when the Fetchers rode their own creation using the park's roller coaster simulator, and eventually testing it out in the public. You gotta wonder if they ever used Willie and Bridget's design for any of the newer rides. And as expected for Fetch, you still get an on-the-nose yet fun science lesson, but this time revolving around the gravity and inertia that happens with roller coasters. Still, this is amazing. I can't get over the fact that 2 of the Fetchers got sent to Disney World. Every season has an episode or two where all 6 kids are sent out to solve a set of puzzles relating to some mystery or treasure important to Ruff. It would have been too convoluted to put every episode of this type in this spot, so instead I went with my favorite. And wouldn't you know it, it's from season 3. I've never done live action role-playing, nor do I have friends who partake in it, but if it's anything like what they show in the episode, sign me the heck up! Ruff's nephew had to fix the Fetch 3000, and as payment, they have to go to the site of his quest, Wings Castle. Glenn, referred to the episode as Glendolf, though I personally would have chosen Glenendorf, is super entertaining to listen to, and it's a shame he doesn't appear more often. With Sam and Harsha as wizards, Jay and Noelle as elves, and DJ and Semi as bearded dwarves, the Fetchers all have to braid different puzzles specific to them. Whether it be math, finding clues from mythology, pulling strings to win a prize, wait, doesn't that last one seem like a Mario Party minigame? As well as my favorite segment, building the bridge across enchanted waters. The episode's also really funny, whether it be Ruff's snark towards the Fetchers' puzzles,
Plus 12 is 21.
They're math wizards.
Come on.
And off they go. Hopefully they'll find a barber.
or the various references.
Very good, Uncle Ruff. For a Wookiee.
A Wookiee? What am I, Chewbacca? Ah, you're like Shaq at the free throw line.
To the kitchen! And Ruff.
Ooh, now the elves can bake me those cookies.
All of the puzzles culminate in a really funny twist on the reward. I won't spoil what it is, but they take full advantage of the voice acting here. Whether you love LARPing, fantasy media, or general RPGs, this is a must-watch for many. You'd be rolling a nat 1 not to. I'm surprised they didn't do this type of challenge sooner. The hockey challenge in the same episode was pretty cool and very funny at times.
No! Okay, we get the point. All right. I'm gonna throw up. I will pay you to stop. I want to be a mascot.
But this challenge is just plain cooler in concept and content. Jay and Noelle basically take each other's place in their home and school lives. Seeing these two try to adapt to the other's chores and activities is super neat. Whether it be spending time with their siblings, helping around the house, or just seeing different ways of life, it was all super neat. Though you'd think Jay would have been better with makeup given an earlier challenge he had that season. However, the best part came from the swapped after-school activity. Noelle doing lacrosse was pretty neat, especially seeing her win for Jay's team during an exhibition match with a quip from Ruff that had me rolling.
Hey, shoot! She scores! And a guy who plays goalie like me!
Actually, the entire episode is super hilarious, honestly my favorite from Season 3. However, we haven't gone over Jay's side of the equation yet. Cheerleading. You could tell poor Jay was not in his happy place, but he was a trooper throughout. I just hope Jay's team didn't give him too hard of a time. So yeah, this challenge was really cool to watch through and through. The concept is brilliant, the Fedgers and Ruff were both super entertaining to watch and listen to, and the episode as a whole is my favorite of the series, as well as season. However, while I do love this episode, an earlier season delivered a challenge I found just a bit cooler. But, is that all the entries a warrior can give?
No.
What time is it?
Honorable mentions.
The food challenges. There were too many of this type for me to comfortably put on the list, but they're all a blast to watch. If I had to choose a favorite, it'd be the BLT ice cream episode. The space challenges from season 1. This has less to do with the challenges and more with how fun it is that the season started and ended with the Fetchers learning about outer space. Both challenges and Ruff's big break. They were both entertaining to watch, and the episode as a whole is my favorite of season 2. Miming from season 5. This caters to my inner theater child, and I loved watching what Emmy and Mark came up with for their performances. Pole vaulting from season 4. This is actually from the same episode as the fencing challenge, and features Nate from Design Squad, another show on PBS that teaches about engineering. I was considering having another tie and having both challenges at number 8, but I decided against it. And lastly, indoor skydiving from season 5. Watching Mark and Ruby learn the ins and outs of flying inside was so cool to see. Consider this my number 11 pick. You know, I'm starting to think I was a bit unfair to season 5 back at number 8. So what made it to the top? Season 2 is pretty great too. After a burst pipe washes away Ruff's paintings, Ruff sends Willie and Maddie to find a way to create more paintings and learn to play the blues. However, Ruff pulls a me and misreads a key detail, meaning he didn't book blues musicians, he got something even better! Friends, this is the Blue Man Group. This alone took up rent-free residence in my brain since I was a kid. I loved watching the Blue Man Group, but what they do in this episode is downright amazing. Creating unconventional ways to make music using the pipes was not what I was expecting my first time watching, but we're just getting started. Listen to this song they create with their pipe piano and tell me it doesn't pump you up.
This is great!
The Blue Men also create new paintings in bizarre ways, and that was without question my favorite part. The beginning with them using paintballs to literally spit out works of art was one heck of a way to start the challenge. The ending is even better. Pouring paint on a set of drums may sound like a good way to ruin them, but doesn't matter when you're creating some of the coolest visuals in the show. Not only does it create a lava-like effect that looks just plain awesome, but using the splashes of paint to create a work of art. Man! This challenge just caters to my creative side and shows me everything I love, making it my favorite in all of Fetch. I'm Alex S. Warrior, and
That's for last video, Alex.